Then I want to ask you about this New Daily matter. So this is the media outlet called the New Daily.
Yep.
So is your position that you're not in a position to enforce the best financial interest duty because you don't regulate this entity?
I guess that's part of the story. Yes, no regulated super fund that we regulate has a direct investment in the New Daily.
Okay. So, and are there ongoing payments to support this organisation from the fund? Do you know?
Well, again, off the top of my head, I don't think I've got the answer available, but we can certainly go into more about why we don't think we would have a case against super funds for investing in the structure that sits above the New Daily.
So what is the status of that organisation then?
Which one, the New Daily?
Yeah, or whatever entity that owns it.
The New Daily is owned by Industry Super Holdings, as I understand it, which owns a number of entities, including IFM Investors Limited, which, as you know, is a significant investment company, profitable, has a number of clients that are not super funds, has a number of international clients. So, it's part of a group, in other words, Senator.
Yes, we've had this conversation many times. So effectively, the summary of the view you have is that an organisation like this, which is, I would argue, not established to support member outcomes, it's more for political and media propaganda, can be held inside a vehicle which is doing other things and supported by the super funds.
The fact of the matter is it's a de minimis part of a much bigger enterprise that provides various services and initiatives for super funds, Senator. I think I'm telling you the practical reality of the situation.
So according to the ASIC reports, the New Daily lost $1.7 million in 2021-2022, $2.7 million in the financial year before that, and $2.8 million in 2019-20. So this is an organisation which is hemorrhaging cash, but it's being propped up by an entity funded by super funds. So that doesn't bother you?
I'm not sure that's the characterisation I would give it.
Well, do you want to? Have you got a different reading of it?
I did try to say last time I didn't think there was anything I could add on this subject, and I'm being drawn into trying to repeating things, as you've said, that have been said before.
But, Senator, I think it comes down to the same issue as the previous line of questioning. So here we have an investment. It's up to the trustees making the investment to justify why this is in the best interests of the members. And I think when you see the revised standard that comes out, we will be talking about things like ensuring that expenditure meets strategic objectives, having a clear link with member outcomes, making sure that there's clear decision-making protocols that are happening. So there's a whole range of things at a principles level that we would expect, and I think it is just boiling down to the same issue.
Okay, well, we look forward to your updated guidance on that then. I think that will be much anticipated. When will that be out?
It's fairly imminent, I think, Senator. Could I add something else that might be helpful?
Sure.
I hope it is anyway, but we're about to see the financial accountability regime extend from banks to insurers and super funds. That will happen as of March next year. Under that regime, there are prescribed responsibilities and key functions. One such key function is for marketing and advertising, defined as oversight, design and implementation of the entity's marketing and advertising strategy and budget. That means that there will have to be a person designated in that key function. Yeah. That will mean that we will have a very clear touch point to go to raise such issues. It will be useful to us in the way that we supervise.
So the reason I'm asking you about this...
Sorry, Deputy Chair. I'll just check with the committee and also the Minister. I think that if we went on for no more than sort of 15 minutes, we may be able to release APRA. Are you happy to do that? Is that right? And so we would be delaying the lunch break by 15 minutes? Am I right?
Okay.
Yep.
So, look, I'll try and be very efficient here.
So we'll delay the lunch break by 15 minutes and continue? Yeah.
So we'll go at 5 to 2?
That's right.
That's fine. By me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Deputy
So
Chair.
I don't want to labour the point. The reason I'm asking you about this is because there is a very explicit law on the books here, and I believe that it has been subverted through the establishment of these vehicles, which is allowing the funds to put money into these vehicles to do whatever they want to do, run propaganda unit, dirt units, whatever they want to do with retirement savings. And so effectively they have organised this enormously expensive business called the Super Members Council, which is now releasing research into very political things, like we have a disagreement in this building about superannuation for housing. Okay, the government believe the current rules are good. Our policy is that the rules should change. And so they are using members' funds to commission research and then put it into the media and to try and influence the election, for example. Now, I think this is a key point for you in your upcoming guidance, because they could effectively use these bodies as a way to get around the law if your guidance is soft. So what I'm asking you, my question is, after that long preamble, is what about the correspondence we've exchanged in relation to the money and the campaigning done by these industry bodies like the Super Members Council? What sort of rules will apply to these organisations, particularly when it's about election materials or election policies?
Well, Senator, we don't regulate the various peak bodies and industry bodies, and there are quite a large number of them relevant in the super industry, so we don't regulate them. So as to that specific question, what are we going to do about that? I don't think that is within our remit, but what we do expect, as the Chair said, for any super fund at any part of the spectrum paying money, members' money, for membership fees for such organisations, that they have a very strong understanding of what they're getting for that, and that they can justify that as being in members' best financial interest. That applies whether it's the Super Members Council or any of the other ones in this space.
So if 10 members of the Super Members Council put $10 million each into a fund run by the Super Members Council, and they ran wall-to-wall TV advertising during the election campaign against the coalition's housing policy, what would you say to that?
At the moment, I'd say it was a hypothetical
Of course you would at Senate estimates, but the reality is that these organisations are heavily funded. So will your guidance deal with these organisations?
Senator, can I finish where I started? So
Yep.
I just want, on your preamble, you made the point, I think, that you were very interested in making sure that the law is operating as intended, and our assurance to you is we're working very hard to make sure that happens, and we're doing that as a supervision-led organisation. And as Ms Cole said, we have an investigation underway, and if it turns out that more than supervision is needed, then you should rest assured that we will take action where it is needed.
Okay.
Could we add something? I think it would be helpful to invite
Thank you.
Ms McCann to speak.
Thank you, Ms Cole. Good afternoon. Lucinda McCann, General Counsel, APRA. So, Senator, to reiterate what my colleagues here have said is we do take the best financial interest duty and all of the other trustee covenants very seriously. Of course, these are, they don't set prescriptive requirements for trustees. Rather they set the parameters around trustees' ability to make decisions, exercise powers, and that includes decisions around investment and expenditure. When you look at the best financial interest duty, again, that's not a prescriptive duty, but what it's specifying is the sorts of decision-making processes that trustees need to follow when they're making decisions about using trust assets or exercising their powers. And really for them, and this is what the EM for Your Future, Your Super makes so helpfully clear, is that the best financial interests of members and the fund has to be the determinative factor. It's not to say there can't be other non-financial factors at play, and at least some of the examples make that clear, but it has to be the best financial interests of members that are the sort of key driving factor. And so if trustees, when we make inquiries about how they're spending members' money, what sort of relationships they enter into, if they can satisfy us that they've done that analysis, that there is robust quantification of the benefits, the financial benefits to members, and that's documented, it's been properly considered, then from our perspective that does satisfy the requirements of the best financial interest duty.
Okay,
Very
thank
helpful.
you.